From Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.
Tonight on News Hour, 133 million Nigerians are poor, according to Poverty Index released by National Bureau of Statistics. EFCC boss says number of governors on watch list has increased. Inspector General of Police blames state governors for rising political violence. And away from Nigeria, 2 killed in second Kenyan building collapse this week. Hello and welcome to the News Hour on Trust Television. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thank you for joining. Now the details. 133 million Nigerians are poor, according to National Bureau of Statistics. In its 2022 Multidimensional Poverty Index survey released in Abuja on Thursday, the NBS said that the figure represents 63% of the nation's population. Chamung Dabeng reports.
The World Bank had earlier revealed that 90 million Nigerians were living in abject poverty. However, with the current instability of the naira, high rate of insecurity, severe floods and the continuous upward trend in inflationary pressures, it has become imperative to revisit the World Bank figures. United Nations resident and humanitarian coordinator in Nigeria, Matthias Shimale, reveals the results of the survey carried out.
According to this year's MPI, 63% of people, 133 million Nigerians, are multidimensionally poor, i.e. being deprived in more than one dimension of the 4 measured. Multidimensional poverty is higher in rural areas, where 72% of people are poor compared to urban areas, where it's 42%.
The MPI report revealed that the national MPI is 0.257, indicating that poor people in Nigeria experience just over 1/4 of all possible deprivations. 65% of the poor live in the north, while 35% live in the south. Poverty levels across states vary significantly, with the incidence of multidimensional poverty ranging from a low of 27% in Ondo to a high of 91% in Sokoto. Despite several funding programs and alleviation schemes developed by the government, it seems that the country's SDG target of lifting 100 million Nigerians out of poverty by 2030 will take longer than expected. Nigerians react to the new development.
Well, it's so pathetic to mention that the level we find ourselves in this country, it's not something to write home about. Of course, the poverty rate will keep increasing, no matter the statistic. The reality shows that Nigerians are poor. Based on the current situation of the country, the nation is down. The government are not doing anything to help the citizenry of the country. You will see from the insecurity, food scarcity. In fact, all their policies have failed. And that is why Nigerians are really hungry right now.
Yeah, I think without a doubt, it has been commonly reported that Nigeria is even the poverty capital of the world. And it is obvious. If you go around, you see the level of poverty that is ravaging the country. I want to speak from a personal experience. I've been hearing that, people are suffering, and then the level of poverty is so high that some people cannot even feed. One Sunday, I was coming out of my house and I saw a woman picking food from our dustbin in the house. She could not feed herself, she couldn't feed her family. The situation was that bad to the extent that people are feeding from the dustbin now.
When the dollar was, how much is a dollar now? A dollar is about 700 now. Back when it was like 315 naira or so, it's been said that most Nigerians live below a dollar, which is to say that an average poor man actually doesn't earn up to a dollar. Like his feeding doesn't take up to a dollar. That's all he can get. That's all he's earning. That was when it was 350. Now that it is 700, I don't know. You understand? We are beginning to get 5 naira is beginning to go extinct. 10 naira is beginning to go. You can't really buy anything.
According to Shimale, poverty is a nationwide problem, but its nature is different in different parts of the country. So there is a need to tailor intervention to the deprivation profile of each state. Chamun Dabeng, Trust TV News, Abuja.
The chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Abdurrashid Bawa, says the number of governors who are under the watch list for money laundering have increased from the initial 3 being tracked. The EFCC chairman revealed this on Thursday while briefing journalists at the State House in Abuja after meeting President Muhammadu Buhari. The anti-corruption chief will, however, not confirm the exact number of governors, despite speculations that they were now up to 8 in number. Kehinde Amodu reports.
The redesign of the Naira has had a huge impact on economic activities, as it has stirred up intense efforts to legally return stashed funds to the financial system. The EFCC has also embarked on sting operations to root out monies illegally kept outside the system, and has in these raids recovered huge amounts of money.
We are happy with this Naira redesign in the sense that it will give central bank an opportunity of going back to square one. By the time they collect all these monies back to their system, then they are going to control the monies that they are going to release to the system. And then, of course, once the monies are back within the financial institution, it will help to further boost, economic activities in the sense that there will be more money for people to borrow. You understand? And then we, on our own part, will have the avenue of monitoring what are we doing with all these huge resources that are out there before, that are now within the financial institution.
Bawa also explained the reason why he feels the Naira redesign policy will cause the Naira to appreciate significantly, noting that it is not based on expert economic analysis.
But from what we are seeing these days, the dollar is up at 90 and then it is down 690. What happened? Is it that we have all of a sudden within 10 days carried out some, certain, miraculous economic activities to warrant, the crashing of the USD, and then we just realize that it's just about speculation. Majority of these, transactions on USDs that is happening, on the streets and among individuals are not for any economic reality. They are just using it as a means to store value.
And yes, governors are being monitored, but the EFCC boss will not be cajoled to indicate how many are on the radar.
The governors that we are monitoring, in fact, the numbers have even increased. We are monitoring everything. Nigerians are helping. Well, I don't want to give you the figures so that you will not go and speculate whether they are in the north or they are in the south.
Meanwhile, the EFCC chairman has explained the issues that led to the judgment, holding his office in contempt, noting that the case has been settled amicably.
And in June of this year, the car was released. We have started the process of releasing the funds when we got the judgment, which of course we are all surprised about, but we are able to go back to the court, and the court have seen reason to us and has completely reversed that earlier decision.
The anti-corruption battle has progressed in leaps and bounds, with EFCC recording 3,228 convictions in court as at the 4th of November this year. From State House, Abuja, Kehinde Amodu, Trust TV News.
The Chief of Army Staff has charged all operational theaters to review their strategies in order to defeat the country's adversaries. The review of the operational activities, according to the Army Chief, will help secure lives and properties in the Northeast in particular and Nigeria in general. Bitrus Kurzi has more.
Despite the relative peace enjoyed in Borno State, the Nigerian army is not resting on its oars in guarding against security threats across the Northeast region. And to continue delivering on its constitutional mandate, the army believes a change of operational strategies is required to sustain their onslaught on terrorists.
To have committed soldiers, the need for us to retrain and continue training, because it can never be enough. The need for us to stay focused onto this, our mandate, which he has given to the theater, and which is to restore peace and tranquility in the Northeast. And that's exactly what he has conveyed. It's just reminding us of the need for us to remain committed and focused in the missions ahead.
To deem it wise to call the various commanders in all spheres of command, high hierarchy, middle cadre, and the low-ranking officers, to come together to tweak our methodology for fighting and see how we can do fighting better, and to support Nigerians and defend Nigerians, which is our ultimate goal, to make Nigeria a safer and better country to live in.
How will he enhance the warrior ethos in the Nigerian army to enhance combat effectiveness? And so this is why some of us who had cut our teeth in the past fighting in this very army and recorded great successes were called to come and share our experiences with the officers and soldiers now.
It is believed that the new strategies, which comprise techniques and military procedures, will further strengthen the security architecture. The meeting is connected with President Buhari's directive for all security agencies to deal with Nigeria's adversaries decisively.
Zamfara State Police Command has repelled terrorist attacks and arrested two suspects identified as Sujora Al-Madawi and Bagi Muhammad from different locations in the state. The command's public relations officer, Superintendent Muhammad Shehu, disclosed this while briefing journalists in Gusau, the state capital.
The police in Zamfara State have arrested 13 suspects, including terrorist kingpins, in its ongoing efforts to flush out suspected criminals and restore peace in the state. The public relations officer of the state command, Superintendent Muhammad Shehu, who paraded the suspect on behalf of the Commissioner of Police, Kolo Yusuf, said the command had recovered 2 AK-47 rifles, 1 Beretta pistol, 35 rounds of live ammunition, hard drugs, bunch of charms, wrappers, among others.
Police operatives, while on surveillance patrol within the Seoul Metro, intercepted and arrested the aforementioned suspect. On spot search, large quantity of dried leaf, suspected to be Indian hemp, and different types of hard drugs were recovered in their possession. Intelligence information revealed that the suspected Indian hemp and drugs will be supplied.
He said the police also arrested suppliers of hard drugs to the terrorists in the forest in Zamfara State, northwest Nigeria, and they had all confessed to the crimes.
We have succeeded in arresting this suspect as they are currently undergoing discreet investigation, and they are assisting the police with information that will lead to the arrest of their partners in crime.
The police said all suspects will be charged to court as soon as investigations are concluded.
The member representing Mangu Bokos Federal Constituency in Plateau State, Solomon Maran Bulus, has called on the IGP and other heads of security agencies in the country to put a stop to the spate of incessant killings of unarmed indigents of his constituency. Bulus explained that the ugly and barbaric killings and destruction of properties of the peace-loving and law-abiding people on the 17th of November by suspected herders must be condemned in its entirety. The lawmaker said that over 30 persons have lost their lives, with over 300,000 hectares of farmlands destroyed by the herders due to deliberate and reckless grazing without caution and recourse to constituted authority. He called on NEMA to urgently send relief materials to victims to ameliorate their plight.
We are disturbed that these attacks are just too many, just within a month. We have buried more than 30 able men and women, including children. Unfortunately, despite the presence of Operation Safe Haven, Sector 5, the attackers appeared more armed than the security agents could either counter, repel, or scare them. We are concerned that the miscreants do have a field day perpetrating evil for hours without any form of provocation or confrontation by the security agents. Worse still, either to no single arrest or any deliberate effort has been made to bring those hoodlums to book.
The Delta State Police Command says it has arrested a suspected kidnapper, Isiaku Muhammad, and recovered an AK-47 rifle and 59 rounds of ammunition. The Commissioner, Ari Muhammad Ali, who disclosed this at a briefing on some of the command's latest successes, said that the command also arrested some gun runners and recovered 42 locally made guns, 6 double-barrel guns, as well as 3 pump-action guns. The commissioner also noted that the command arrested one James Idowu, an armed robbery suspect, and recovered a stolen vehicle from him. While appreciating residents of the state for their support to the police, the commissioner encourages them to continue to partner with the police by providing the command with useful and timely information that will aid in crime fighting, noting that the identities of those who volunteer information will be treated with utmost confidentiality. Now, for Nigerians to have a true sense of oneness, all regions of the country must allow the country's democracy to run on power rotation. Presidential candidate of Labour Party, Peter Obi, stated this at the flag off of the campaign of the party's candidate in Nasarawa North at Edehu, Nasarawa Egon local government area of Nasarawa State. Abubakar Abdullahi sent in the report as presented from our studio.
The Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi, represented by the vice presidential candidate Yusuf Datti Baba Ahmed, said presidential power should be allowed to be tested by other regions that are yet to hold the highest office in the country.
Power has been going round. Power has been rotating. And we're saying that it must rotate this time around. Over and above that, Nigeria has never had it this good. To have a candidate in the name, in the mold, in the character of Governor Peter Obi. Going all the way to look for someone like me to say, let us go and lead Nigeria together.
Speaking on what the administration of the Labour Party will do for the nation if elected into power, Baba Ahmed said the country is blessed with wealth, and as such, his government will introduce a policy that would transfer the wealth to the citizens and take them out of poverty.
Nigeria is blessed. Nigeria has money. For the first time, a businessman, assisted by another businessman, assisted by knowledgeable business people in the National Assembly, will come out and start bringing people out of poverty into wealth. You will see it every month. We will protect the value of the Naira. By doing that, the moment you have your national wealth not being stolen, already you are getting richer. The moment your leaders are not stealing your money, you are already getting richer.
While expressing the hope of victory in the 2023 presidential election, he said if elected, the party will focus on improving security to return displaced farmers to their land, generate employment, construct roads, and take measures to avert frequent university strikes in the country. On his part, the Nasarawa North senatorial candidate of Labour Party, Musa Wen Ibrahim, promised to be accountable to his constituents if elected.
You are the people with the power. You are the people with the power. Since I have told you that I don't have a godfather, I want you people to adopt me. I want you people to adopt me. I will serve you. I will serve you. I will be accountable to you.
He explained that the Labour Party is out to make a difference by making sure that citizens benefit from the dividends of democracy.
Meanwhile, the national chairman of the Labour Party, Julius Aburi, says that Nigeria's political elites are fueling regional politics ahead of the 2023 elections with a view to polarizing the electorate along primordial sentiments and fault lines. Aburi said this at the party's national secretariat during an audience with supporters from the northern part of the country. Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman reports.
National leaders of the Labour Party as they demonstrate some dance steps in response to the melody of trumpeters from the northern part of the country. The sound of the trumpets is coming at the time stakeholders in the nation's polity continue to raise concerns over the rising hate speeches and incitements by politicians to woo the electorate upon using regional or religious biases.
Today, the number of out-of-school children is more in the north. The northern region, as of today, has more poor people than in the south. In 2015, the number of out-of-school children in the north was 7 million children. As at today that you have a northerner as president, the number of out-of-school children is above 20 million out-of-school children. In 2014, President Goodluck Jonathan built Amajiri schools and removed a lot of Amajiris from the street, provided them with education, provided them with food, catered for those children. But today, the Amajiri schools are no more. They have been abolished, even by somebody who is from the northern part of the country.
Aburi says Nigerians should resist such dangerous narratives as poverty, economic hardship, amongst other challenges, do not segregate based on religion, region, and ethnicity.
The person from the north doesn't buy garri cheaper than the person from the south. Inflation does not know who is a northerner nor who is a southerner. But what is key to us is that the political oligarchy in Nigeria, whether from the north, south, and so on, have been using religious, tribal, and ethnic sentiments to continue to divide the poor people and continue to exploit them.
Original ethnic and religious biases are deployed during electioneering to attract support and sympathy of the voting population, relegating competence, capacity, reputation, and integrity of the candidates to the background. Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
The Northeast Fulbe pastoralists have endorsed the People's Democratic Party presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar ahead of Nigeria's crucial 2023 general election. They made the endorsement in Yola, the Adamawa state capital. Salis Lawan reports that the pastoralists also appealed for protection for grazers and adequate access to grazing areas and water point.
At an endorsement event put together by thousands of Fulani pastoralists under the auspices of Fulaku from the northeastern part of the country, the group said the 2023 poll is too critical for Nigerians to joke with.
Let me make it here clear to us that Fulbe Northeast in the Northeast Geopolitical Zone has been following activities of all the political leaders in the region and have endorsed His Excellency Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, GCON Waziri Adamawa, as our choice for the President of Nigeria comes 2023 general election. We have equally endorsed His Excellency, the Right Honorable Ahmad Umar Fintiri of the PDP in Adamawa State, our gubernatorial candidate.
While justifying their decision to endorse Atiku to be the Nigeria's next president, the Northeast Fulani Pastoralist Group said they have gotten support of their members across the region.
We endorse it for so many reasons, because of his contributions towards the Fulanis in Nigeria and the more contribution that he did during his vice president, when he was a vice president in Nigeria. He did so many contributions to our business, that is Fulani rearing activities.
When you see a Fulani man, a separate color, like taking oath that he can do this, so there's no going back. Therefore, we endorse Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, Waziri Adamawa, and His Excellency Governor Ahmad Umar Fintiri. There's no checking, no going back, inshallah.
They also solicited the inclusion of members, especially youth and women, in all the empowerment and social intervention programs of the government. From Yola, Salis Lawan, Trust TV News.
The Oyo State Commissioner of Police, Williams Adebowale, has reiterated his stance to deal decisively with any individual or group that plans to disrupt the 2023 general elections and the peace enjoyed in the state. Adebowale disclosed this at a peace and security summit held in Ibadan. The event had in attendance service chiefs and other stakeholders with the theme towards and beyond the 2023 general elections. He also promised to strictly abide by the provisions of the Electoral Act, while also cautioning the youths to shun thuggery, hate speech, vote buying, and the illegal use of social media to heat up the polity, and assured that such moves will be met with stiff resistance from police authorities.
The conduct of general elections next year is very crucial to the survival of Nigeria as a corporate entity. Therefore, all hands must be on deck to ensure a free, fair, and credible elections next year.
We need peace to remove fear and anxiety in the lives of people. This will promote the progress, growth, and development of society. We also need peace to promote peaceful among people, which resort our society to the one that lack conflict. Peace also encourages international cooperation, trade, and relationship.
At this time, we need the support of everyone. The Bales, the Obas, the youths, Christian leaders, Muslim leaders, everyone, because we believe that if we all decide to have peace in Oyo State, peace will never elude us.
Now, integrity, they say, is the cornerstone of leadership and is essential for building trust in the electoral process. Without integrity, which is based on democratic principles, leaders and officials may not be accountable to the electorate. Noel Samson looks at the importance of electoral integrity in Nigeria's democratic dispensation.
Electoral integrity allows for peaceful resolution of conflicts, open dialogue, debate, and information sharing among leaders and the public. However, reforming institutions is not just enough, as citizens need to be convinced that changes are real and deserve their confidence.
The Electoral Act 2022 is a progressive piece of legislation. It contains a lot of provisions that has concretely and fundamentally and comprehensively domiciled the use of technology in the electoral process. It has also made it possible for us to have a tab on what we call the pre-election dispute resolution, and has also made it possible for funds meant for the conduct of election to be released to the Commission on time.
To ensure that elections have integrity, other factors outside of electoral institutions themselves need to be taken into account and strengthened. Election officials, judges, and courts must have independence that is respected by politicians.
We are in a context where political actors feel they have captured INEC. Because when you assault the independence of INEC, you undermine its ability to deliver credible elections.
Losing is always possible. And any politician who is not prepared to accept that he can lose or he can win, he should not be allowed to participate in the process.
Security is also seen as a key factor which has to be present during elections, and neutrality during the whole process is paramount as prospects for promoting electoral integrity.
Nations are built on law enforcement, on law and order. Where there's no law and order, that nation cannot exist. And when there are no laws, even the Garden of Eden, God gave Adam and Eve a law: thou shalt not eat this fruit. And when they disobeyed, of course, there was a sanction.
A country cannot be truly democratic until its citizens have the opportunity to choose their representative through elections that are free and fair. Critical development efforts cannot be succeeded without a legitimate and democratically elected government that is responsive and accountable to its citizens. Noel Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
The House of Representatives Committee on National Security and Intelligence has called on the National Security Advisor, Major General Babagana Mungunu, retired, to secure Nigeria as the country approaches the forthcoming general elections. Chairman of the committee, Sha'aban Sharada, made the call on Thursday in Abuja during the 2022 budget defense session of the Office of the National Security Advisor. He said that the role of the government in ensuring the corporate unity of Nigeria and sustainable internal security, especially in recent times, is non-negotiable. The National Security Advisor commended the effort of the Department of State Security, the National Intelligence Agency, and the Defense Intelligence Agency for the timely intelligence reports in the last 5 months, which have greatly helped the country to record successes in the fight against banditry, insecurity, and other forms of crime and criminality.
It is hoped that the relationship would be deepened to achieve the objectives of the national security reforms as the 9th House of Representatives is approaching the end of its tenure.
Insecurity that confronts us is not peculiar just to Nigeria, but it's a global thing. And in today's context, we can only overcome this problem when we recognize the importance of intelligence as being the driver, the propellant of all activities in a whole of society approach. It is important that all the problems I present are taken into consideration by this very, very important committee.
Budget of the intelligence community was reduced from 212.7 billion naira in 2022 to 195 billion naira in 2023. According to the committee, this is as a result of the economic challenges primarily caused by global economic instability and the COVID-19 pandemic. You're watching the News Hour on Trust Television. Coming up shortly, we'll take a look at why Africans do not respect time. Details of this and more after the break.
We wish you a Merry Christmas.
My name is Femi Adebayo. This holiday season, StarTimes is taking us to a better level. You can step up your family entertainment with the StarTimes upgrade promo. You recharge 2 months on Nova Bouquet and get upgraded to Basic or Smart Bouquet. Recharge 2 months on Basic or Smart Bouquet, you get upgraded to Classic or Super Bouquet. And if you recharge 2 months on Classic or Super Bouquet, you get 10 days free on your subscription. This upgrade automatically qualifies you for a weekly draw to win 55-inch Smart TV, PA systems, home appliances, and more. These prizes are proudly sponsored by Longreach, Wayon, and Amaz. This promo is from the 15th November to 15th January 2023. Times and conditions apply. On StarTimes, every day is the best day ever. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. StarTimes. Entertain your family.
Welcome back. You're watching the News Hour on Trust Television. Here's a reminder of our top stories again. 133 million Nigerians are poor, according to Poverty Index released by National Bureau of Statistics. EFCC boss says number of governors on watch list has increased. The Inspector General of Police, Usman Alkali Baba, on Thursday said some state governors are promoting political violence ahead of the 2023 general elections. He disclosed this while speaking at a meeting with political parties and other stakeholders at the force headquarters in Abuja. According to the IGP, the police have been receiving reports of some state governors who encourage political thugs and sub-national security outfits under their control to disrupt seamless and statutory guaranteed campaign activities of parties or candidates with whom they hold opposing political views. The police chief said that the force was putting in place measures to combat all forms of political violence ahead of the election season.
Political violence relates to the conduct of some state governors who manifest traits of political intolerance, which often inflame political tension. In this regard, we have been receiving reports of some state governors who encourage political talks and subnational security outfits under their control to disrupt seamless and statutorily guaranteed campaign activities of parties or candidates with whom they hold opposition political views. In so doing, they deploy their powers and influences to either prevent the mounting of campaign bills and votes or pull them down after they have been mounted.
We want to commend the Inspector General of Police for bringing all the political leaders and political parties together for this roundtable with the service chiefs and other heads of security agencies. It's a welcome development. It shows that the police is ready to police with engagement with the people. And like what was said here, everything that was said here are the problems that we're going to face in 2023. We raised the issue of clamp down on opposition in some states, the activities of some governors that are overbearing. We raised the activities of also some of the commissioners of police who seems to be siding at the side of the ruling government in different states. We raised the issue of arrest of political opponents in night to election. We raised the issue of use of trump-up charges against political opponents. We raised especially the issue of vote boni, where you have opponents of the incumbent being arrested and charged to magistrate. The police should not be involved in those kind of things.
The Federal High Court in Abuja has discontinued a suit filed by the leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, against the Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, and the Director General of the National Intelligence Agency, Ahmed Abubakar. Kanu had filed the suit through his special counsel, Aloy Ejimako, seeking, among other reliefs, an order of the court directing the defendants to pay him the sum of 20 billion naira, being general and exemplary damages. The suit, which was before the Justice Inyang Eko, sought to challenge the manner Nnamdi Kanu was arrested in Kenya. According to Ejimako, the suit was discontinued for strategic reasons that will be inappropriate and unprofessional to disclose publicly. Justice Inyang Eko had fixed Friday, November 18, for the hearing of the matter. However, Kanu's counsel announced today that the suit has been discontinued. Electricity consumers in Katsina are raising questions on malfunction of some electrical installations. On Wednesday, some residents of Shagari low-cost quarters in the metropolis were rushed to the hospital after an electric power shocking incident. Among the victims is a 7-year-old child as well as some women. Abdullahi Yamadi has the details of the report.
According to an eyewitness account, the incident started from an electricity transformer which was installed recently in the area. The residents said poor installation and nonchalant attitude of personnel of electricity distribution firm for not doing the right thing before, during and after the installation of the transformer may be responsible. This 7-year-old boy was just standing by the window in this house and got electric shock when he touched the netting to the window. We took him to the hospital immediately, and I doubt if this boy will survive it. Our major concern is our safety. Many people in this area are complaining, having this problem in their houses. We want KEDCO to make thorough investigation and rectify the problem once and for all. Though the fault has been rectified, but many residents are wondering why there is no any official explanation from the electricity firm hours after the incident.
I and my child were devastated and rushed to the hospital. It was terrible. Many people in the area are still in grief and uncertainty. We need explanations from relevant authorities.
The KEDCO regional manager in charge of Katsina, Nasir Dambo, said the incident was a failure of lightning arresto, noting, however, that it neither harms human being nor electronic devices.
We had a problem with lightning arresto, and a good Samaritan from that area, he just called that they are experiencing high voltage. Immediately they called and we sent our technical staff, and they quickly identify the problem, and within less than 5 minutes they are able to rectify the issue. But on the issue that many people are affected, I'm not aware. I'm just hearing it from you, and I expect if anything like that happen, I'm very sure the community will come.
The regional manager said that customers are responsible for provision of protection devices in their houses in the event of high voltage or any unforeseen situation. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Crossed Television News, Katsina.
The Independent National Electoral Commission in Niger State has disclosed that some registration area centers affected by insecurity and flood in Rafi, Mashegu and other local government areas in the state will be relocated before the 2023 general elections. The head of INEC operations in the state, MB Yusuf, who made this known during a stakeholders meeting, said that the affected centers have been assessed and found unsuitable for the conduct of the elections. He said in Rafi local government, the classrooms that the commission will use as registration area centers have been converted to military camps due to insecurity in the area, while some in Shiroro and other flood-affected areas have been affected by floods. He said some classrooms used as registration area centers in Mashegu local government area were blown off by wind.
The challenge, I'm still assessing the situation. I'm still going through the handing over that. And definitely there's going to be serious work to be able to meet up with the 100 days. The preparation, we have started receiving the non-sensitive materials. What is left now is to start at appropriate time, because INEC have timetable of distributing all these things, all these materials. We will continue to do it as programmed by INEC or by the commission. We will be doing it, distributing it, and where there's challenge, we will try to come together and surmount that challenge.
Zamfara State Governor Bello Muhammad said his administration will place top priority on the recitation of the Quran, and he stated this during the opening ceremony of the 26th State Annual Quranic Recitation in Gusau, where those who will represent the state at the national competition will be selected. The report.
The 26th State Annual Quranic Recitation Competition has kicked off in Zamfara State, and the best reciters will be selected to represent the state at this year's National Quranic Recitation Competition. Governor Bello Muhammad of Zamfara State, who was represented by his deputy, Senator Hassan Nasiha, while declaring the competition open, said the state government has been able to stop the abuse of the Holy Quran by devilish individuals. He observed that the proper recitation of the Holy Quran and abiding by its teachings will always be a source of blessings and compassion, hence the need to organize and promote Quranic recitation and learning of the correct recitation of the Holy Book.
Of the State Quranic Recitation Competition. This year's competition, 25th, is the 25th of its kind. We started in the state 2 decades ago. It gladdens my heart that my administration has not only sustained this noble cause, but has also taken decisive steps to support Quranic schools, promote the well-being of Quranic reciters and memorizers.
The Emir of Anka, Atahiru Ahmed, and the guest speaker, Al-Haji Atiku Zawiya, expressed the need to promote the learning of the recitation and adhering to the teachings of the Holy Quran.
A true Muslim will rely on the Holy Quran, like we all do, because it is what defines the way we live our lives. I have been supporting the Quranic recitation competition due to the importance of the Holy Book, as it helps Muslims lead meaningful lives. As traditional rulers, we will continue to give our support and will urge everyone to support any cause that will promote the Islamic religion, especially the Quranic recitation competition. The gathering here is important because it is to honor the Holy Quran from Allah. The Quran is the holy book that Allah gave mankind through Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, to teach and enlighten the people. This is why emphasis is placed on reading and reciting the Quran, because it can give us salvation.
The Zamfara State Quranic recitation competition is to last for 12 days, even as participants have been asked to demonstrate exemplary conduct.
وكذلك أوحينا إليك روحا من أمرنا.
The term African time has over the years become part of the Nigerian lexicon as a subtle reference to improper time management, or better put, lateness to events. In this report, Noel Samson got the reactions of some Nigerians concerning time management.
Time management is the process of planning and exercising conscious control of time spent on specific activities, especially to increase effectiveness, efficiency, and productivity. Over time, Nigerians have been adjudged to be bad time managers, especially in areas of attending events on time. This phenomenon led to the notion of African time for the continent and indeed Nigerian time for the country.
We have seen instances where we appear to events early and the event does not start early. So it has given people the incentive that going to events early is like time wasting. And it's a cultural thing that because even in church, even in religious events, we find that many times people attend events lately.
Events organized by Nigerians start behind time because it's a general attitude. Nigerians do not have respect for time, so both the organizers and the attenders are not conscious of time, so we usually have that deficit in starting on time.
We Nigerians, we believed in African time. Like if I have a flight tomorrow, 8 a.m., I know how to do my things to meet up the flight. But when it comes to program like this, we find it difficult to make it up to the program. Maybe we feel like, well, once I reach there at any time, I'm okay.
Nigerians, however, are not oblivious of the effects of the improper time management on productivity, as well as how to manage the situation.
Time is money. A popular Nigerian even made a hit track on that. So already we know that it affects our time. And if Nigeria's most productive city is Lagos, and people in Lagos spend an average of 6 hours in traffic. So it tells us that we are wasting billions.
Yeah, the impact of African time on productivity is that it hampers the essence of the event.
Discipline for time in Nigeria is something that is not really put in place mainly because there are few consequences. When we arrive at an event late, all we just have to say is sorry. In fact, sometimes people do not even say sorry, they just get along with it.
Lack of penalty or punishment for that behavior. So it won't be overcome if there's no penalty or punishment for that behavior.
Effective time management reduces wastage, helps to avoid friction. Proper managing time includes making to-do lists, allocating time to each item from your to-do list, and then scheduling those tasks on your calendar. Noel Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
And now in business news, the National Cooperative Financing Agency of Nigeria said the federal government is working to provide financial inclusion products to Nigerians to help ease the economic burden faced by the citizenry across board. This was disclosed at a forum which had a cross-section of practitioners from the public and private sectors to brainstorm on harnessing cooperative financing in Nigeria. Christiana Amodu reports.
Low-level income, poverty, illiteracy, among others, have hindered financial inclusion in Nigeria, whose current rate is at 64%. To seek respite, groups of people came together to form Adashi, as it is popularly called in the northern part, or Susu, Ajo in Yoruba, and this metamorphosed into organized cooperatives. Consequently, cooperatives have been useful in the development of a critical pillar for driving inclusion, and how to enhance access to financial inclusion products is a focus at this summit.
And financial inclusion actually is to ensure that the informal sector are included in the financial ecosystem. A lot of Nigerians are engaged profitably in their private endeavor. But for the fact that those elements that make up financial inclusion products like pension, housing, insurance, are not available for such people. And such people are under our control and mentorship. So we deem it fit that at this summit, we should be able to open their eyes.
It has not been reported. It has not been captured because we do our things in most cases silently. We are trying now to open up and let people know, let the world know that cooperatives is contributing immensely to the development of the country.
Representatives from the Central Bank of Nigeria and Federal Mortgage Bank assured Nigerians of collaboration to help deepen financial inclusion penetration.
We are reforming a lot of things. We are making a lot of issues easier for them so that they will be able to access this loan and build houses to promote home ownership for the members of the cooperative societies.
I urge all participants at this summit to participate actively by way of knowledge sharing, interactiveness, and recommendations to further enhance the financial inclusion objectives for the sustainable growth of an inclusive economy in Nigeria.
Aside this event, Nigeria will also bring together stakeholders in the Maiden International Financial Inclusion Conference, where more out-of-the-box approaches in tackling financial inclusion will be brought to the table. Christiana Amodu Otinya, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Let's now take more updates presented by Chiamaka Nwafo.
The Pension Transitional Arrangement Directorate, PTAD, has announced that it has received £26.5 million from the United Kingdom, an amount which was left over from the money used to pay British colonial officers who worked in Nigeria. The Executive Secretary of PTAD, Chioma Ejikeme, disclosed this on Thursday during the 58th ministerial briefing at the State House. The PTAD chief stated that the amount recovered was used to clear outstanding arrears to pensioners across all the pension departments, particularly the huge arrears inherited from the defunct and privatized agencies. Also recovered as legacy pension assets by the Directorate is a sum of 17.85 billion naira from boards of trustees and underwriters of Treasury-funded federal parastatals. The PTAD boss further revealed that the Directorate has paid over 610 billion naira from January 2015 to December 2021 in monthly pensions, noting that it had achieved 90% of its mandate. In stocks, the equity market on Thursday closed on a bearish note as the all-share index declined by 0.08% to settle at 44,011.22 points. The market capitalization declined by 0.08% to close at 23.972 trillion naira, shedding 19 billion naira. The market breadth closed negative as 13 equities appreciated in their share prices against 21 equities that declined in their share prices. An aggregate of 97.7 million units of shares was traded in 2,980 deals valued at 847.9 million naira. In Europe, the Secretary General of the United Nations, Antonio Guterres, says all parties have agreed to extend the Black Sea grain deal to facilitate Ukraine's agricultural exports from its southern ports. Guterres, who will welcome the agreement, discloses in a statement on Thursday. In July, Russia and Ukraine signed separate agreements with Turkey and the United Nations to enable the export of millions of tons of grains needed across the world. And that's it on Business News. I am Chiamaka Nwafo.
Now, away from Nigeria, a second tragedy in 3 days in the outskirts of Kenya's capital, Nairobi, where a multi-story building under construction on Thursday collapsed on a neighboring home, killed at least 2 people. 3 other people have been rescued alive from the family home that was next to the collapsed building located in the Ruaka suburb. Last month, a woman and her children were also killed when a building collapsed and buried them in their own home. After building collapses in Kenya in 2015, the presidency ordered an audit to see if the country's buildings were up to code. The National Construction Authority found that 58% of the buildings in Nairobi were unfit for habitation. Let's now take sports updates put together by Adeni Ajishafe.
The Nigerian Football Federation says the new board led by Ibrahim Musa Gusau will not discriminate against any Nigerian born in any part of the world during selection into any of Nigeria's national teams. NFF's Director of Media and Communications, Ademola Lajire, says the clarification became necessary in view of an incorrect report in a section of the media, insinuating that the NFL president spoke of an impending war against foreign-born or foreign-based players as far as selection of players into the national teams is concerned. Olajire assured that selectors of national teams will be given a free hand to pick players of Nigerian origin from any jurisdiction in the universe as long as they qualify to represent Nigeria and are good enough to make the country proud by ensuring podium appearance for Nigerian teams at major competitions. And still on football, African Soccer ruling body CAF has announced the date for the remaining qualifiers of the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations in Cote d'Ivoire. Match day 1 and 2 of the qualifiers held in the mid-year of 2022, while match day 3 and 4, slated for September, were suspended. The suspension came after the competition was moved from the summer of 2023 to January-February 2024. The football body announced that the resumption of the qualifier and match day 3 and 4 will come up on March 20 and 27, 2023. Match day 5 will come up on 12 to 20 June 2023, while the final match is scheduled for 4th to 12 September 2023. That's Sport News. I am Adeni Ajishafe.
And that's a wrap for the News Hour tonight. Remember, you can watch more via all our social media platforms and also subscribe to our YouTube channel. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.